back for week 12, everybody, at wannamakabet.com. It's ready to crack the Miller Lite and get the week end started right.
That's so exciting on a Thursday night.
Crack the Miller Lite and start the weekend right.
God, I love that rhyme, and I love Thursday night football coming up.
Yeah, and I actually I'm in my new music room here, and I have my if you could see it.
Well, all we see is Brown Stadium behind you, which is great.
Well, so in front of me is my laptop, but I'm in my son has his double screens that for his gaming and music studio. Wow. And on the screen right above this screen, I have the game ready to go.
Oh, good for you.
So I'll have it on during the pod.
Terrific.
Yeah, we are 29-26 in the contest. We're one game out of the money. So we had a 3-2 week last week. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think we had we as everybody heard last week on the pod, Cello and I had a really tough time coming to an agreement on the 5 games. We ended up at midnight in a hotel in Warminster, Pennsylvania at a bar mitzvah arguing over the 5 teams, and we ended up we agreed on 3.
Correct.
We ended up deciding to each take one for our 4th and 5th pick. Cello took the Vikings, and I took Seattle.
Yeah.
And what were the other 3? That
Tampa would have been the other one that we both kind of liked, with Baker with the points, and that didn't go well.
What were our? Do you remember our other 3?
The 3 winners?
Yeah.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh we loved, and they got it done. That was
all right. Pittsburgh. One. Actually, I have it right here. The Vikings loser, 49ers, Pittsburgh,
and
Seattle. So 49ers, Pittsburgh, and Seattle were the winners, and the losers were Minnesota and Baltimore.
God, Minnesota really disappointed me, and obviously Baltimore just couldn't get the cover. It took them forever to get started in that game, and at the end of the day, I mean, I was lucky with the teaser that they actually got it done. I would have been shocked, like everyone in this country, if they would have actually lost to the Browns, especially when Shedeur came in. And I mean, you got to, listen, the kid got thrown into the fire. I wasn't expecting much from him, but he did exactly what you thought a rookie quarterback who holds the ball too long would do. He took sacks.
Who had never played.
He didn't get a first down. Of course, he got no points. And, you were kind of right a little bit. I mean, a little bit of your assessment about Lamar maybe has been right in terms of his unwillingness to run the ball the way he used to run the ball. He's not tucking and running confidently the way he normally would. And I know you picked up on that a couple of weeks ago. And I said, well, listen, he threw 4 touchdowns. He looks kind of normal to me. But I think you were saying more about his decisiveness in running. And I know Myles Garrett had something to say about that. His ability to do that. Obviously, every time he stepped up in the pocket, it was either him or Mason Graham basically wrapping their arms around the guy. And that's the one thing the Browns do well, right? I mean, the defensive line is phenomenal. But it's a shame they can't score any points. But we'll see what Shedeur does this week. I mean, he's finally going to get a week to prepare, and he's playing a bad Raiders team. I'm really kind of curious to see how he does in this game. I think he's got a real shot to maybe win his first start as an NFL quarterback, but we'll see.
Let's jump into the card because we got a game starting soon, and there's no better time than the present. We kick things off tonight with Buffalo after their big win over Tampa last week, taking it down to Houston in a very high leverage game for the AFC playoff picture. I would call it a must win for Houston in terms of their percentages to make the playoffs. If they either win or lose this game, are going to dramatically change. Buffalo's, I don't think change much. They're essentially, I wouldn't say they're a lock, but they look very good. Probably have an 80% chance of making the playoffs. But Houston, if they lose this game, they're essentially done. So I'm expecting them to have a lot of fight in this game. Line came out. What's interesting about this line is that it was originally priced in a way that expected CJ Stroud to play because it came out at 2.5, then it went to 3, and then even earlier this week it was 3.5. And then when it became clear that he was not playing, which was really on the 17th, 3 days ago, it
Yeah.
popped to 5.5. Then it went to 6. There was some money came in on Houston. Now it's where it is currently, 5.5, total 44.5.
Okay.
Um, what do you think? What do you think we're going to get out of both of these teams tonight?
Well, listen, I obviously Davis Mills, right? So you're going to get Houston. You're going to get that ferocious defense, the pass rush that, I love Anderson, obviously. I think he's one of the best players in the league. Josh Allen on the road in this spot. Thursday night football, he's 6-0, Jack. I don't know if you know that in Thursday night football. So he's been really, really good in this spot. But he's
Oh, is Josh
also,
Allen?
yeah, he's 6-0
Okay.
on Thursday night football in his career.
Okay.
So that's a pretty interesting data point. I mean, obviously they played very well last week. He had what I would call an all-world game for a quarterback, 3 touchdown passes and 3 rushing touchdowns in a game.
I know. Incredible.
I mean, out of his mind, right? So he's not going to do that against Houston's defense. There's absolutely no way in hell. They're way too good. They're top 4 defense. You talk about their DVOA all the time, and you're dead right.
They're actually number 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think they allow less than 20 points a game. So some data points that I think are interesting. I told you about Josh Allen, but also the Bills have dropped 5 straight games in Houston, and 3 of those games have been with Josh Allen. So he has not won a game in Houston in his career, which I think could be interesting. And that makes me kind of lean toward Houston with the points. I know that Buffalo's defense can't stop the run. I expect Woody Marks, the new running back for the Texans, to have a good night, maybe 100 yards and a touchdown. I just don't know if I trust Davis Mills. And the way the Bills are playing on offense, I'm just wondering if it's going to carry forward. We know the Texans have played 2 primetime games this year. They've lost them both straight up and against the spread, Seattle and Tampa. I don't think either of those were at home. Josh Allen has started 10 games on short rest in his career. As he is here, he's 8-2, and he's also faced top defenses like the Texans, who have allowed 20 points or less. He's done that 29 times in his career in the regular season. He's 24-5 straight up in those matchups. So I'm leaning with Buffalo. Definitely have them in a teaser, which is, I know, the kiss of death in gambling, but I did it anyway. Bills to win the game. I put them with the Rams, and I put them with Pittsburgh, 8.5 and pick them, because I like both those teams in those spots. But I would be a little nervous maybe about betting Buffalo straight here, and I don't know why. Something's telling me that Houston may cover, but I'm not super confident with Davis Mills. So I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, the game's a skip from a standpoint of laying 5.5. I'm just not willing to take the Texans with Davis Mills. I just don't know if I know Buffalo's defense struggles, but I just don't know if Josh Allen might be able to outscore them,
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think it makes it into our top 5. I generally agree what you're saying, which is, look, if you're backing Buffalo this week, you're too late. Like, you missed it. And I know people who rode the hunch on Tuesday and even Wednesday, really Monday and Tuesday, and got the number at 3.5. Like, that's a good number.
Wow.
That said, I'm not rushing in to take the 5.5 or the 6 even. I just feel like, but if you made me pick in this game with this number, I would take
home
Houston.
dog.
I just think they must win this game if they're going to make the playoffs. They're at home. Davis Mills actually played well against both Jacksonville and Tennessee. I know that's a much lower opponent than what he has tonight, but the last 2 weeks he actually looked good. I mean, he won the game with the officiating help against the Jags at home. Last week he beat Tennessee, so that is, that's nothing to brag about. But he didn't play terrible. He ran the ball well. His numbers were good. He only has 1 interceptions, maybe 5 touchdowns in those 2 games. So, I mean, he's not a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, he's a capable backup in my mind. Is he good? No, but I have more confidence in him than I have in a lot of these young guys who are coming in, like Shedeur, like for the first time. You know?
Yeah,
what I
of
mean?
course. Yeah, he's been around the block.
So it's a skip for me also. But if anything, lean Houston, and I would be inclined to take the points, especially in a teaser. You take that across 10. And that's kind of like would make me feel pretty good.
You know,
All
it's
right.
just interesting with Buffalo's offense breaking out the way they did last week. I don't know if they can carry that forward, but if they can, and if this is going to be kind of that second half of the season push that Josh Allen is going to will his team, we've seen him do it, and he did it last week.
Yeah, yeah,
And he may just be too much for Houston. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, if Davis Mills cannot keep up and Buffalo's defense actually decides to show a little spine tonight, I don't know necessarily if they can score enough points to beat Josh and cover the 7 or whatever it is, stay within
Yeah.
a touchdown.
Yeah. The other thing is, Keon Coleman's like I keep hearing about these injuries for Buffalo. Like they're definitely a little bit banged up, especially in the secondary. Hamlin's out, Strong IR, Wade Owens IR, Rapp is out. I thought Rousseau was banged up, but I guess he's cleared. Offense looks okay, but Keon Coleman's out and Kincaid is inactive. So it's sort of
Yeah, I
like
know.
they're definitely not at full strength on the injury side. And Houston, with the exception of Stroud, they're very healthy coming in.
I mean, Schultz is a little banged up. I don't know about Nico Collins, I think is fine.
Yeah, he's
You
fine.
know, and listen, what Buffalo proved to us last week is they can Josh can throw the ball to literally anybody. Guys
Yeah,
you've never heard of, they're scoring touchdowns. So
yeah,
it really doesn't matter. It's plug and place for Josh. He doesn't care. He's got a bunch of guys he can throw to. It's really more about his mindset and the offensive line of Buffalo, giving him enough time to make the plays that he's capable of making. And when he has time to do it, he's elite. He's like one of the top players in the
Oh, I
league.
know. Don't get me
And I
wrong.
just think
He's
it's such a drop off from him to Davis Mills. And listen, maybe there's something to the fact that he hasn't won Houston ever. And maybe that matters. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't because I have him in the teasers and I hope I don't lose. I'm rooting for Buffalo to win the game.
okay. Yeah. Let's move on. I am taking us to Sunday morning. No more games in Europe. We are in Chicago in a game that we contemplated going to
Yes.
a couple months ago. Decided not to. Steelers at Bears. Contest line is 2.5. Market is 2.5. This was at 3 up until today, I think. And the total is 45.5. I'll let you go first because it's your Steelers, but I have an opinion on this game.
Well, I think Rodgers is 50-50 to play. Like he's got a broken left wrist, small fracture in his broken left wrist. He wants to play. He historically owns Chicago. We know it's well documented. You've seen the clip. I still own you, etc. They've been playing that all week. He's very, very anxious to play. For the most part, these guys want to play. I mean, I've said that to you for a long time. Like,
oh yeah,
if you let the players decide, they're going to say, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm playing." Like
they're their own worst enemy.
Yeah, they're their own worst enemy. So, can he protect himself? Can he take a snap with a broken left wrist under center? All these things remain to be seen. Mason Rudolph, I think, acquitted himself very nicely last week against, albeit Cincinnati's defense, which is not the Bears' defense. The Bears lead the league in turnovers, forced with 16. They have 14 interceptions. The Bears are finding ways to win. I know you've been very high on the Bears. I know you had them last week, and I was wrong about Minnesota. It took McCarthy too long to get the lead. And then, of course, the kickoff, the bungled kickoff, basically put the Bears almost in field goal range to win the game either way. But they find ways to win the last 4 weeks. They're winning a lot of low one-score games. Pittsburgh, in general, as an underdog under Tomlin, lately has not been good. They've lost 4 in a row, straight up and against the spread. So that has not really worked. But the Bears, I will say, the data point that I thought was interesting is they've won 3 straight games by 5 points or less. In the last 20 years, there's been 3 teams that have done that, that have won 3 in a row, all by 5 points and less. Those teams, a lot more than 3 actually, have gone 12, 23, and 1 against the spread in their next game. So I don't know if that follows through here. I guess winning a lot of close games and finally catches up to you, where finally you don't win the close game, that you've been pulling out the rabbit out of the hat type of thing for that many weeks in a row. And it's the NFL. Eventually you don't do it, So if it's Rodgers, I like us. I took us up in a Wong teaser to 8.5. If you're a Steeler fan and you believe that Rodgers can go in there again and beat Chicago and rip their hearts out again, take the money line. And if you're going to ride the Magic pixie dust with Chicago, then 2.5 is a gift. So
Yeah.
I don't really know. It depends on how you look at this game. Tomlin as an underdog with a backup quarterback, if Mason Rudolph does go, he's actually pretty good. 8-8 straight up and 11-4 against the spread. So that's not so bad. But I don't know who's going to start a quarterback, and you won't probably know till the end of the week. So tough one here. I know where I'm putting my money. I have them in a teaser with 8.5, and I'll probably have a little money line if Rodgers plays.
Okay. Yeah, as expected, I like the Bears. I rewatched the who they play last week?
Minnesota.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry, I rewatched
Minnesota.
I rewatched the Vikings game primarily to just confirm my thoughts about JJ McCarthy, which we'll talk about later when we cover the Detroit game. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so impressed with Detroit. They are, and I disagree with what you said. Like, teams that win close games, and I would put them in that category this year. I would also put Carolina in that category. They just going to keep doing it. I mean, the Steelers have had years like that. The Browns, when we were with Baker, we had a year like that where we're just winning close games, kicking the game-winning field goal a handful of times in a season. It happens. Yeah. And so I like them for that reason. I think the magic continues. Some of your stats support it. Like, Steelers have not been great on the road recently. And
as an underdog, correct.
I'm just so impressed with the sort of the key elements of the Chicago offense. Caleb Williams, Swift is amazing. Both tight ends, Kmet and Loveland, are fantastic. And DJ Moore and what's his face? Odunze are unbelievable.
Yeah, but Odunze has been really a bust. He has
he's been playing great.
Really bad fantasy year, Jack. Trust me, his fantasy numbers are terrible.
Well, I think
they've been really disappointing, and so is DJ Moore. Caleb Williams is doing this a lot with himself and his own legs.
Yeah,
breaking down the pocket and making plays with his legs. Caleb Williams is very dangerous.
Yeah. And I see that continuing. I don't think, again, I'm not that impressed with the Pittsburgh defense, especially in the secondary. I don't think you guys have people that can guard these guys. And I think the pass rush.
I totally disagree with that. I couldn't disagree with you more there. Signed Asante Samuel. Duggar had a pick 6 last week. The guy we picked up from New England. He's really good. Joey Porter Jr. nowhere even throws his direction because he just covers people like white on rice. Our defense is actually playing a lot better. And I think as the year gets longer in the tooth, we're going to play a lot better. And I'll tell you this, Caleb Williams is in trouble. And the Bears are in trouble when they allow 3 sacks or more. They are not good. It is a huge statistical thing. When they allow 3 or more sacks, they're in big trouble.
You can't sack them. Can't get them. Okay. I've been watching it all year.
Let's see what TJ has to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been just watching it every single week. You just can't get to him. As soon as you think you got him, and the guy, that's just, again, one of my takeaways from rewatching that game. And, you can only see so much on Red Zone because they're showing the key plays. The fucking guy, you cannot get him. And
not with the defense he's playing.
Unbelievable.
They played a very, very easy schedule. They played very bad defenses. The one defense they played was the Ravens, and he didn't do shit. So
I know.
I'd be careful
saying, like, you got
falling in love with the painted nails prints that you're painting, that you're pinning your hopes to.
Guy does it every week. That's all I can say.
Let's see him do it this week. Let's see him do it.
We'll have 20 on it.
I'd love to see him do it this week. We'll see. Hope it goes back to 3.
Okay. You wanted a 2.5?
No, I'll wait for Mason.
All right, we don't agree on that one. Jets, Baltimore. I don't have much to say about this. I mean, I can't believe Tyrod Taylor is being thrown out there. I think the Ravens can name their score in this game. I don't think the Jets are going to score. I think this is going to get really ugly. And I just don't see the Jets scoring. I mean, 44.5 points is the total. It's come down just a little bit, but I don't know. This is either Ravens or Skip, and I would even say if you liked Baltimore, I'd be willing to put it in my top 5. I see them just absolutely killing these guys. What do you think?
So much of what you say I like, and I just, after watching Lamar last week at Cleveland, I just don't. I didn't love the way he looked, man. I'm telling you, I think I've been really pro Baltimore for quite some time, and the Jets really stink. I will say this about Tyrod Taylor. He's a guy that covers these kind of spreads historically, which gives me a little pause. He's 5-0-1 against the spread in his last 6 starts. And when the team he's on is under 500, he's 15-5-1 against the spread, including 10-2-1 against the spread as an underdog. I just, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of things I saw in the Jets against New England that I liked. I thought they had some plays. I thought Adonai Mitchell had chances to score 2 touchdowns, that Justin Fields was terrible that night. And if you get a quarterback who can actually stand in there and make an accurate throw, the Jets could have beaten New England. And, 13.5, it just seems like a really big number to me to lay. As a favorite of 1 possession or more, which means 8 points or more, Lamar's 16-11 against the spread.
Okay.
So I get what you're saying. Like, Jets are starting a backup quarterback, but Tyrod's similar to Davis Mills, right? He's not really a backup quarterback. He's a journeyman.
Oh, busted out. Calvin Cook busted one. Here we go.
Am I right, Jack?
Touchdown.
Am I really right? Am I right about that?
About what?
That Tyrod Taylor's like a Davis Mills. He's like a journeyman. He's not a real backup, So he's a 500 quarterback. So I just think it's too much to lay. I think Baltimore will definitely win. I'm just not ready to say that this is going to be like 38-0. It's just tough for me, especially with Breece Hall and the tight end and Adonai Mitchell. I think the defense is playing with a little bit of pride. I know they struggle in the secondary, but maybe you'll get me there on Baltimore later in the week. But as of right now, I'm not really there.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson out. I mean, he missed the extra point. I feel like I'm not gonna push hard. I don't feel that strongly about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't like laying 13.5 with any team in any game in the NFL. So it's just like I would never bet the Jets. You got a backup quarterback who's had the knee contusion. I'm assuming he's healthy. I can't imagine they won't get an uptick in passing performance because Fields is so bad. That said, he still has nobody to throw to, and I don't count Adonai Mitchell as as your guy. But either way,
he's actually pretty underrated. I mean, he had some really nice routes that he ran, and I think he's underrated as a receiver in general. He's a real wide receiver too. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's not playing, so that's an issue for them.
I think it's more of like
they got Breece Hall, and I just don't listen. The Ravens defense has been playing much better.
That's
maybe
the thing.
Eventually you get me there and they do win this game 38-10 or whatever it is. But I think Tyrod Taylor at least gives him a chance to hang in the game and maybe throw a touchdown or two, which if they can put up 14 or 17 points, I think that should be enough to cover the spread.
The Jet defense is ranked 30th. So let's just say the Ravens are going to score 21 points, right? With their offense.
Easily.
And I think the defense is playing well enough to turn them over. It's a backup quarterback without weapons. I think they'll get a turnover or 2, and I throw another 14 opportunistic points in there. That's 35. I mean, how many of their Jets going to score? Like at most, the Jets could score 10. So I don't see it.
The Jets, this isn't much of a rivalry, but the Ravens have dominated the Jets.
Yeah.
They're 12-2 straight up and against the spread in franchise history.
Yeah.
At home, they're 6-0 and 5-1 against the spread versus the Jets. They win by 14 points a game. Now, this on an average. The spread's 13.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
It's right there.
And I think it's also they probably come back from that Cleveland trip pretty disappointed with the way they played, because they pretty much didn't play well until midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
And they probably really, they feel like they made a lot of mistakes in that game despite getting the win. This is like perfect opportunity to play a nice, clean blowout type game against one of the worst teams in the league.
And they shouldn't struggle in the red zone the way they did against you guys. I mean, and also the week before in the red zone, they kicked 4 field goals in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Before they started scoring, and they had to pull that out late. So they haven't been good early. Baltimore in the first half is under their team total in almost every game they've played. So they're not starting fast. And when you're laying 13.5 and you're not starting fast, I mean, who knows? It's just, I'm just not super confident. I like him in teasers with even if you're going to take a 4-team teaser in our league, obviously you can get them down to pick them. I think that's obviously safe. They're not going to lose the Jets,
Yeah.
What's going on in the game? I don't know the score.
Dalvin Cook busted like a 45-yard run, and they missed the extra point. 6-0 Buffalo. Houston's driving.
Dalvin Cook? He's not playing for them. James Cook.
Sorry, James Cook. My bad.
Yeah.
My guy.
That's his brother.
By the way, somebody in our league offered me Drake May and Kyron Williams for Bijan.
Oh my God, do it. You have to do it.
I said no.
I don't know how you would say no to that. I think Drake May is the best quarterback.
I don't need a quarterback.
Who's your quarterback?
I have Love and Baker. They both have been very good for the year.
Baker's been good.
Both of them. I've gotten between 20 and 35 from both of them every week, and I'm not trading Bijan for Kyron.
Kyron's been better than Bijan, I think. I don't know. I don't love.
I saw they show you the production. It's not as good.
Okay.
Let's move on to Cincy hosting the Patriots. Speaking of the Patriots,
I thought we had the Giant game next.
Did we? Hold on. Yes, you're right. Giants, Lions, 10.5.
We're in big trouble down here.
15.5.
We're in big trouble.
Oh God, I'm not getting involved in this one either. I think it's too many to play, and at the same time, I don't want to take Giants.
Okay. Jenny said I have a flood issue in the basement, which is not great.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the hell.
Is it raining?
No. That's the problem.
Well, we can't pause the show. You want to take a look?
Oh, shit.
Let's just power through.
Oh, man. Okay.
Is there anything down there?
Yeah, there's stuff down there. I can't imagine what this could be.
Do you want to go look real quick?
Yeah.
Do it.
Not good.
What happened?
Probably a broken pipe of some sort behind the wall. It's not good. It's going to be a monster thing. I got to end up probably cutting through the wall, through the cement, and getting underneath near the foundation and replacing whatever pipe broke under there. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a mess.
What kind of a pipe?
Whatever's back there behind that cement wall, I have no idea, but it's not going to be good.
It's not the sewer, is it?
We don't have a sewer. We have a cesspool, but it looks like
water
from
water.
It's water from probably the dishwasher, the kitchen sink, the washing machine, all that stuff goes through a pipe out to the cesspool. I would imagine that somewhere behind that cement wall, that pipe is broken. And
it's
leaking.
Not coming from the hot water heater and going into the house?
No.
It's coming out of the house. It's leaving the house?
Coming in from behind the cement wall slab. Not good. Not from outside the house either.
You never saw that pipe before? Like, did you know it was back
there? You can't see it. It doesn't. You have to cut through the cement to get to it.
So what are you seeing? Just water seeping?
Water seeping in, back into the house.
And it's water, not sewage?
Water.
That's okay. At least it's only water. And the basement's not finished, right?
No, not really. It was until we had the damage. So either way, you can splice this, obviously, or cut through this or whatever to get us back to where we were. It's a disaster either way.
Josh Allen just got absolutely obliterated on a scramble. And I think it was Anderson, and may have broken his left wrist.
Should we not do this now? I mean, should we do this tomorrow? I can't. I mean,
No, I think we should keep going. Like, I can easily cut out. It's at 28:30. We're at 41. At 28:30, you left. So all I have to do is I can easily cut it.
Okay, so let's figure out. Let's get through it.
Let's go. Buffalo Giants. Giants are getting 10.5 from the Lions. I can't get there with either side. I looked at this game. I'm not going to lay it with Detroit. They let me down last week against Philly. I know they're at home coming back, and the Giants didn't give me any vibes that they can be competitive with one of the best teams in the league. If anything, I probably lean slightly to Detroit in this one, but it's just not a number I'm comfortable laying. What do you think?
I think it's a Lions blowout. I'm very comfortable with it. Goff's career, he's 24-7 against the spread indoors off a loss. Dan Campbell's been very good. When the spread is 4 or higher, his teams are 8-0 against the spread off a loss. And they're indoors. They're back home after a disappointing loss at Philly. I think they're going to put up 40 against the Giants.
Really?
Yeah. I like Detroit a lot in this game.
Okay. I could maybe get there. Feels like a lot. No matter what, it's a double-digit favorite, which I hate. But yeah, and I don't think much of the Giants, so I don't know why I would not like this one and like Baltimore. I guess I think the Giants are better than the Jets, but yeah, I mean nothing has really changed for the Giants. So okay, I could maybe get there with you on this one.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Patriots Bengals. So this is an interesting line because there was hope in the middle of the week that Burrow was coming back. So this was 8.5, and it's currently come way back down to 5.5, which I totally don't understand, considering he's not playing and they have the worst defense in the league. And Drake May is basically the number one quarterback by the numbers. And, the New England's 9-2. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league. I don't see any reason why they can't cover this number. The contest line's 6.5. I would lay it. I don't think Cincy has anything left. What do you think?
I don't think Burrow's going to play. I don't know why they would play him, but if Flacco plays, I like the Cincinnati plus the points.
Really?
I got 7.5. I locked in the 7.5 already.
Even with Chase out?
Yeah, they're okay without Chase. They're 3-2 straight up without Chase, and Higgins is just as capable. And actually, their defense played a little better last week, even though the Steelers. I think a lot of that is the score is not indicative of how the defense played. They played a little bit better, but more importantly, Flacco is very good against Vrabel's teams. He's played them twice. He's beaten them both times, straight up and against the spread. Shut him out once. And I just think like teams after playing the Jets haven't been good. 1-8 against the spread. And I know they're on extended rest, but I just think it's too many points. And I think I've been waiting for New England to kind of come back to the pack a little bit. And I know they got a banged up Tampa team, and I thought that would be the week they did it. And of course, last week they covered the Jet game by half a point at home. Because Fields is an awful quarterback and he couldn't complete a pass. But other than that, I think if the Jets had a real quarterback, they might have lost that game at home. And I think 7.5 is way too many at Cincinnati at home. I just think they're going to be hanging around this game, and I like them with over a touchdown.
What do you think of 6.5 in the contest?
Not as great.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, do you like New England at that number?
Man, maybe.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that there's any major injuries that we're tracking in that game. It's like Jamar Chase is suspended. Flacco's still got the banged up shoulder.
Yep.
Gesicki's out. I mean, I know they have Noah Fant, but
yeah, everyone's calling for Fant to have a touchdown this week because
Hendrickson is doubtful, so they have no rush. It's like he was the only thing on their defense. Cam Taylor-Britt is doubtful now. He's like the only good corner they have. I can't imagine they could stop the Patriots, who have just been so dominant.
Yeah, I mean, I see a high-scoring game either way. I think it could be, this game could be played in the 30s.
Yeah.
And I think in that type of a scenario on the road, this game kind of reminds me of that like Chicago-Cincinnati game. Where 7.5 will be more than enough.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Seattle is laying a bundle on the road to Tennessee, 13.5, which is just, I mean, if there's going to be I don't know, a bunch of people took Seattle the week I should have in Survivor, but if there were going to be an anti-Survivor play, it would be the Tennessee Titans in this game against Seattle. And I also think that, I think they can cover this. I mean, I would never bet it, but it's too many to lay on the road. It's a total trap game. I mean, Seattle's been playing unbelievable football. They almost won last week, right? But they came up a little bit short. Second straight road game against an absolutely meaningless team. Depending on what happens this week, do they have another game with the Rams, or I think they're playing the 49ers again next week. I mean, this is just a total, like, get me the hell out of there. Get me a win, whatever it takes. And I don't know. I see them. I don't know. They have the best defense in the league, in my opinion. But man, this could be tough. What do you think?
I think it's too many points. I like Tennessee. I think 13.5 at home is. And listen, Seattle has not been good historically against Tennessee. They're 1-7 against the spread on the road in Tennessee since they become a franchise. So yeah. I just think Tennessee's covered 2 straight games. They're playing a little bit better. I mean, I know they have no Ridley, but I don't think it matters. I think that, like you said, I don't know if Seattle's going to be super motivated for this game. It's a non-conference game on the road against an AFC doormat team. 13.5 seems like way too many for me. I know they have Smith and Jigba. I'm sure that Charbonnet and Walker will have a game where they're good, but I just don't think they're going to cover.
Yeah. Okay. If we do the anti-survivor play, it'll be this one, I think. So let's consider that when we review it.
I think a lot of people will be on Baltimore too. Whoever hasn't taken Baltimore, you just take against the Jets every week. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Vikings Packers. We got this line hasn't moved at all. It came out 6.5. It's still there. Total's 40.5. Yeah, I mean, look, JJ McCarthy had a horrible game. He's horrible. He confirmed everything I suspected of him last week. Again, watching that game, he was worse than I thought for the most part. Just like, and I'm saying that because he wasn't being pressured. It's one thing to say, oh, that this guy sucks and he has a terrible offensive line. Like I feel like I've watched enough football to not judge a quarterback by, his terrible offensive line. Like if he can't have time to throw the ball, that's one thing, but he had all the time. I think his pressure rate I was reading was like 20 something %. So he had all the time in the world to make throws and he couldn't make them. And whatever, he's a rookie. It's all too fast for him right now. And he's not good. And now let me say a couple good things. There were a couple drops early in that game that may have changed the course of it. Like Addison dropped a beautifully thrown ball over the middle early in the game. That would have been like a 45-yard gain.
Yep.
And when that happens, the same thing, believe it or not, the same thing happened to Shedeur. There were 4 drops in the Cleveland game, and he had his numbers were awful. But I wouldn't back JJ in this spot. They're done for the year, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think this is like last week was a high leverage game for them. Like they actually were sort of still in the picture. Now they're completely done. And the Packers had a nice win last week against the Giants, and they're still very much alive to win the North. They need a win here, and I don't think this is a lot to lay. It's a little weird to me that it hasn't gone to 7. But what do you think?
I haven't been that impressed with Jordan Love lately either. I think he's been and LaFleur is someone that historically has not been covering these kind of spreads. I mean, the Packers in their last 8 games with Love are 1-7 against the spread. So it's not like they're playing great either. They've lost 2 consecutive games straight up and against the spread to the Vikings. So I think 6.5 is too many. I think Minnesota will find a way to run the ball. I think it's a revenge game for Aaron Jones. I think he'll have a nice game at Green Bay. And Minnesota's defense obviously brings the pressure. And Jordan Love, a lot of the wide receivers are hurt. He lost Tucker Kraft. Jacobs is banged up. I don't love the way Green Bay is playing. And I see this as a 3-point game. So I'd be willing to take the 6.5.
Wow. I mean, it would be a ballsy pick. And I'm looking at their injury, like the depth chart. I mean, every single player in the wide receiver position.
I know.
Watson, Dobbs, Golden, Wicks, Williams, Melton. Every single one of them is questionable.
Yeah, and they lost their starting tight end.
At minimum, they're banged up. And then Josh Jacobs is also questionable.
I know. I like Minnesota in the under.
Oh, yeah. And I know
16,
they lost
13, whoever.
Elkin Jenkins broke his leg 2 weeks ago, so they don't have a starting center. Savion Williams, questionable. Dobbs, both of those guys were returning kicks. They're both, my God, it's like they're really banged up. Quay Walker, both their starting linebackers.
Yeah, they're a mash unit. I like Minnesota with the 6.5. I think it's too many points.
Man, would that be a ballsy pick to come back with them after what they did to us last week? But it's also a good point to bring up is that we, in a way, when we're in this contest that we're in, we kind of should be playing defense a little bit. Meaning, like last week when we saw that Minnesota was the number 1 pick, we probably should have got off it because there's nothing to gain by taking the team that every single team ahead of us is taking. We're not going to make up any ground.
That actually is true.
It's better to not take him, just switch and root against them and hope everyone else goes down.
Tennessee probably no one will take this week either.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, that's something to consider. I could maybe, it's funny that I could actually come back with JJ. I really hope I don't have to. In fact, I almost don't want to let myself do that after what I went through last week. But he could single-handedly lose them the game. He's definitely capable of that.
Yep.
And the cover. All right. Seattle, no, Indy, Kansas City. Man, I just had a flashback to my 12-team teaser that I put in at the diner. You know what happened, right, with that?
No.
I put in a 12-team teaser.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And I hit everything, including the Vikings, by the way. They got there in a
In the
6-point
teaser, yeah, because the late touchdown. Yep.
Miami got there. There were 4 or 5 that where the teaser helped. The rest of them I was on the right side, including Jacksonville, which was great.
Kansas City killed you.
Kansas City was the only team out of the
At
12.
Denver.
Even
Wow.
Detroit covered.
Yeah.
They lost by 8. They lost by 9. They lost by 8. I was getting 9. The Chiefs couldn't win the game. They couldn't cover. They couldn't. Guess what I was getting in that game? 2.5.
Oh.
And in a 12-team teaser, a push would have just canceled that one out. It's a $25 bet that would have paid $12.50.
Wow.
So I'll probably do it again, and I regret not starting it off with a Houston play in this game. But you know, when it comes to handicapping this game, I think the Chiefs are. I like the Colts, to be honest with you, getting 3.5. It's too many to lay. The Chiefs are 5-5, and I think that's like such a devastating loss that they had last week, emotionally, psychologically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're just not playing great football. They make a lot of mistakes, like the little things. They always talk about the little things, and they're not doing the little things. And Mahomes is just a little bit off. They're just a little bit off. And you know how you beat them also? With the run. You run on them. You can run on the Chiefs. I mean, they have a great secondary, but you can run on them. And they're bringing in the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
Who's hungry, and they have a cohesive team, and like they're clearly a playoff team fighting for position in the playoffs.
I think the game's obviously more desperate times for Kansas City. And I think it's interesting to see, last time we saw Daniel Jones outdoors on grass, he turned it over 6 times. They lost to Pittsburgh. Kansas City, I think, is going to be fired up here. Vegas is definitely giving you a sucker line here at 3.5. I mean, there's absolutely no way that this should be the line that it is.
What do you think? Just 2.5?
There's no way that I just think that line is there to entice you to bet the Colts, period.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, I like Kansas City in this game. Backs against the wall. I don't like Danny Dimes on grass outdoors. I don't like him in this hostile environment. I think Kansas City is going to be highly motivated coming off a devastating loss. And I think they're going to do enough to win the game. I mean, the Colts are a dome team. I know they're coming off extra rest. Sometimes that helps you. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm willing to roll the dice that Kansas City will get this game done and cover the spread. But I just can't get myself to Danny Dimes. If they were indoors on a fast track, I would feel differently.
Well, they played the Rams tough.
Yeah, indoors.
SoFi's not indoors.
Yeah, pretty much is. It's a fast track. Like Kansas City to me is very much the same as Pittsburgh and Cleveland. These are grass fields in the elements, outdoors. Danny Jones does not play his best football in those elements. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about Jonathan Taylor.
It's like I was just going to say that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, the Colts are not a team you want to that'll play well if they're trailing.
Yeah,
but they don't seem to trail because they run the ball so well. Their offensive line is great, and Jonathan Taylor is unbelievable. And they're just gonna, play from that strength. And I can see them taking the lead in this game and just doing what they do. But again, the 3.5, I love that.
Okay, maybe you could talk me into it, but let's see how the week progresses.
Okay. Next up is Jags Cardinals. I wonder what our contest line is in this game. I absolutely
2.5.
Love my Jags. Yep, 2.5.
I like Jacksonville.
Me too.
I like their defense is playing great. Trevor's playing better. Arizona to me is almost a dead team.
Not almost. I think they are not.
And they just, they just haven't been great.
Marvin Harrison's out. DeMarcado and Knight are both out.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett is this guy, Jonathan Gannon might get fired. Like, it's so bad there. They have a terrible defense. Jacksonville is totally feeling themselves. They won that super high leverage game. Now they're fighting to protect their playoff spot. And this to me is just like an easy win. And I by the way, that game is another game that I decided to watch yesterday. I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
These two guys, Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen, their defensive ends, are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And if you don't
Hines Allen set the franchise record for sacks. He's only 28 years old.
Now, I realize that both Joe Alt and who's the other guy?
Slater didn't have him played.
Yeah. And it's crazy. And we'll talk about this when we get into the Rams, but this guy Trevor, they picked up a left tackle. They had like 5 left tackles on the team last week.
The guy they traded for the Saints, Trevor Penner.
Trevor Penning. Yeah, Trevor Penning.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Saints, and they picked him up at the trade deadline.
He was a first round pick. He gets traded to the Rams. He got
Chargers.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's why I didn't find him just now.
Chargers.
Yes. So Trevor Penning.
Yep.
And he got to the Chargers and he got benched. I mean, they had just acquired him and they benched him.
Unreal.
Then they let him play last week, and Josh Hines Allen literally ran through him the entire game. Like you wouldn't have believed that this guy was an NFL player.
Question with Jacksonville is, can they take it to the West Coast on the road and play with the same intensity that they play with at home? They historically don't play well on the West Coast, so that'll be interesting. I think it's a little bit of a fishy line at 2.5. They're kind of goading you into taking. I just can't imagine Arizona getting up and winning a game. I just don't think they're good enough. If Jacksonville plays their normal way, and I know Brian Thomas Jr. has been terrible for Jacksonville, and they lost Hunter. They haven't been good on offense, but I think the defense can maybe do enough to get this win. So 2.5, I think I'd be willing to take Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, we got to keep our eye on Travis Etienne. He's so good.
Yeah.
I picked up Tootin in our fantasy league because he was running so hard you wouldn't have believed it. But I also think Brian Thomas, like at this point, isn't even really needed with Jacoby Myers on the team. And I don't know. I think Trevor's Trevor's Trevor, but good Trevor when he's out and he does stuff with his legs. Like, I don't know. I think this is an easy game for them. You can't lose to Arizona if you're on your way to the playoffs, and I don't see it happening. All right, let's move on. We got the Browns and the Raiders. Maybe the ugliest game of the week.
Definitely, not maybe.
Shedeur Sanders. No, there's an uglier game coming up. Shedeur. This is at least interesting because one of the most sort of talked about players in the league is going to get the start, and let's see what he's got. But I think the bigger thing in this game is the line just seems so inappropriate to be getting 3.5. I hate to say it. I like the Browns because I think we're a better team than the Raiders. And look, all things equal, our defense is the best of the 4 units on the field.
Yeah.
Still a top 5 defense. And I think, Myles Garrett's going to get 3 sacks on Geno. And I realized that the Raiders have, what's his face? Who's a stud?
Mason Crosby.
Crosby's also, who's going to get more sacks? Crosby on Shedeur or Myles on Geno? What do you think?
I will say this. If Geno Smith can't beat Shedeur Sanders in his first start, he should retire. He should literally walk off the field, take off his jersey, and give back the rest of his paycheck and not play football anymore.
You know, the problem, Cello, is that there's only one guy on the Raider defense, and there's a lot of guys on the Browns defense. So it's
true.
not fair. It's not fair. Like Shedeur can get everybody motivated, and if people and the guys want to play for him, and suddenly we get separation, and we haven't gotten it all season long. Like I could see there being some magic. That said, he did not look good in that game. He throws it to the other team. He runs towards players he shouldn't.
Geno?
No, Shedeur.
Oh, Geno's horrible too.
No, I know, but at least I think he's more of an athlete than.
Well, here's what the numbers say.
He's been in the league for 10 years.
I'll just say this. Here are the numbers. So Shedeur will be the 18th different quarterback to make his first career start in the regular season for the Browns since they returned to the NFL in 1999. The other quarterbacks are 0-17 straight up. The last quarterback to win in that spot in 1995 was a guy named Eric Zaire.
Oh, my God.
That's the last time a starting Browns quarterback for the first time in the regular season won a game.
Wow. By the way, I wanted to tell you that JJ McCarthy had the worst EPA of anybody
on third down. I know.
No, just as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And they were comparing one of the names that I saw. I thought of you immediately. DeShone Kizer.
So
for Cleveland.
He was on Cleveland.
He was the one who you almost won wannamakabet.com megabucks.
I know.
Against Baltimore when
he did to me. Jesus Christ. No, it wasn't him. It was Spurgeon Webb.
Oh no, Spurgeon Wynn.
Spurgeon Wynn from Ohio State was quarterbacking from Minnesota. And he went back to pass with no time left for no reason. And he got stripped, and it was a strip sack fumble by McCreary. He ran it back in, and I lost megabucks. And
oh my God.
I remember I picked up a folding chair in my living room, wood floors, and I picked it up over my head and smashed it on the ground. Never forget it.
Oh my God. Did Jenny see that?
No, she was upstairs asleep, thankfully.
Oh my God.
So listen, the Raiders are 5-0 straight up and 4-1 against the spread in that span. Going back to 2015, they've played each other only 5 times. The Raiders have won every game. Stefanski and the Browns have played 6 games on the West Coast, on the Mid Coast. They're 0-6 straight up and 1-5 against the spread. I have no idea why. I would never lay the points with the Raiders because they're that bad and they've screwed me a bunch of times this year. So this game's a skip for me, but I certainly wouldn't take Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on. We won't be getting involved in this. Atlanta, New Orleans. You know, this is interesting what happened here after it became official that Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback. I can't say I agree with the market, but, you know, Atlanta was a look-ahead line of -3, even all the way till the 16th. Or maybe that was Sunday, but maybe it was Monday. And as soon as it became official that Cousins was going to start this game, it flipped.
Yes.
And now the Saints are a favorite of 2.5 points. So 5.5 points of value on the look-ahead line, which is very rare to see. I mean, is Cousins this bad?
Drake London's not playing.
Let me double check that.
He's out.
Doubtful.
Yeah, Falcons are 1-5 straight up and 0-6 against the spread in Kirk Cousins' last 6 games that he's played. Since the start of 20, Cousins is 0-4 against the spread versus New Orleans and 0-3 against the spread at the Superdome. So that's probably a reason for the line move. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I think the Saints will probably win the game and cover. Kamara's back. They still have Olave. The young quarterback's now 4 games in. He's had a little time here. I'm not saying I love him. I'm not running to the window to bet the Saints, but I understand why the line moved. And I do believe that that it'll be enough for the Saints to win the game and cover the spread. I do not like Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a market overreaction, but either way, this is the game I was referring to as worse and uglier than the Raiders
It
Browns
could
game.
easily be the second. It's the NFC version of the AFC slop fest that you're going to see.
Yeah.
I agree with that, and it's a division game, but it's come a long way from the Drew Brees days, in New Orleans. So
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Prime game at 4:00, 4:25 at the Philadelphia Eagles going down to Dallas to replay kickoff game of the year, that Thursday night game, start the season September 5th. Eagles, Dallas taking money in this game. I guess midweek it moved up to Philly, but I don't know what made a move, but it's currently at 3. Curious what the contest line is. 47.5 is the total. Let me just double check.
It was 3.5 at one point, wasn't it? I saw.
Yeah, it's 3.5 in the contest, which I don't love, but
I like Dallas with the 3.5 for sure. I think it's a steal. I mean,
really?
Road division games have not been good for Jalen Hurts. 6-7 straight up, 4-8-1 against the spread. Dak has been great against the NFC East, right? 31-13 against the spread. Against the NFC East, that's the most profitable quarterback against the spread against division foes in the National Football League. He's been really good. He's won 18 consecutive home games outright versus the NFC East. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't.
And I thought Dallas found themselves last week. I mean, the Quinnen Williams, the Luke Wilson, they got 2 guys back in the secondary. We know that Philly's offense has been struggling all year. They're squeaking by with their unbelievable defense. But, I mean, they do say defense travels, but, this could be a little bit of a different situation. Dallas's offense is, I think, considerably better. I know, listen, I know Detroit's offense is great, but not so much with Goff on the road in the elements. Like, if they had gone up and beaten Detroit the way they beat them at home at night last week, that would have said something to me about their defense. But this is in Dallas on a fast track. Dallas's offense has been clicking, and I feel like since the trade deadline, maybe Dallas is starting to feel a little bit of mojo here and saying, hey, you know what? Owner believes in us. We can make a run. Let's put some – and I know their schedule's hard, but if they can put together, 3-1 in the next 4 against these 4 tough opponents, I think they're right there. And the fact that we're getting 3.5 at home with Dak in this spot, I think really makes sense for us to take Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, those are good points, but
no Lane Johnson also for the Eagles. He's their best offensive lineman. He's out 3 to 4 games, and they are only 12-23 straight up when he doesn't play, and they're 96-41 when he does.
Yeah,
he's a huge loss. And he's like the Joe Alt to the Chargers. They're just not the same.
He's incredible. Look, I those are all good points, but I mean, how many times has Dallas let us down at home when we expected so much of them? And now we're gonna consider going. I mean, do I need to remind you how good Philly's defense was last week?
I just know you don't.
Detroit,
I watched it. I had him. I just think it's a little bit of a different test with I think the moves that Dallas made at the trade deadline. Their defense is a lot more stout, and I think when you put Quinnen Williams in the middle of that defense, you're no longer able to run up the middle the way you were on Dallas. They got 2 corners back that played really well last week. I know it was the Raiders, but they had really good games. Even Aikman was saying that he was impressed with how they were playing in the secondary. And you have Luke Wilson in the middle at linebacker who can tackle now. And they didn't have that. So, of course, you have Pickens and CD and the tight end Ferguson's been great. And they can run the ball. I mean, I know it's going to be hard to run on Philly, but I think they'll be able to throw it on Philly. So I just think 3.5 at home. They got a great kicker. This kid Aubrey can make it from 65.
Yeah, he's my fantasy kicker.
I think that might be good enough to get the win and the cover, actually.
All right. I don't agree, and I'm not. I've been so bad with Philly this year. It's like I've been betting against them. And you're asking me to do it again against, with a team that, I think they overperformed last week because they were kind of playing for Neyland. And I realized it was the Raiders and they suck.
Yeah.
There was a big emotional side to that win last week, and I don't think that'll carry over this week. And I
Well,
don't
I'm
know.
sure
I'm
they're
not.
going to do something for Nealon at home. I think there'll be a big thing for Nealon this week that on their home stadium. I think it'll be pretty emotional. I don't know if that'll translate to anything success for them on the field, but I don't think that's a one and done thing. I think that this guy's locker, his jersey will be in the locker room all year. I don't think they changed anything. His jersey's going to be hanging, and Schottenheimer cried after the game. I don't know if you saw that after the post game speech. So these guys were affected by it. I think, I don't think Dak will be intimidated at home against Philly. Not saying necessarily it's going to be easy, but I like 3.5. I think that extra half could be big for us. And it wouldn't surprise me if Dallas won the game. Philly has been skirting by, scoring not a lot of points. This AJ Brown thing is a real problem. He's in the press every week. He's complaining about the offense. They're not getting the ball to Devonta Smith the way they were. Jalen, I know he has 16 touchdown passes and 1 interception. Statistically, he's been good, but he hasn't been explosive.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I like him in this spot on the road. His numbers tell you not to necessarily back him in this spot. So I like Dallas.
Okay. I don't think I'll get there, but let's move on. Sunday night is Tampa Bay at the Rams. Tampa's getting 6.5. Came out at 6, 49.5. You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know we both love Baker. The defense has had a really hard time. They got shredded at Buffalo, and they're missing players. They're just not the same team. I know Godwin and Irving were seen at practice today in limited capacity. I just don't think it's going to matter. I think the Rams are playing really good football. I think the Rams are going to win this game by at least 10 points. Baker. He's made 13 starts at night in prime time. He's 2-11 straight up, 4-9 against the spread. So these aren't really the times where you want to back him. Above a field goal underdog at night, he's 1-8 straight up and 0-8 straight up during the regular season. So I have the Rams in a couple teasers just to win the game. But I also think that they're going to cover the spread. McVay has been really good after wins. Obviously, had the big win against Seattle. They don't let down. They're 34-17 straight up, 30-17 against the spread in games after they win and beat an NFC West opponent. I mean, that's saying a lot when you beat a division. So normally you may have a letdown. I know the Steelers would. Every time we beat the Ravens, we lose the next game. And the same can be said for them, not for McVay and the Rams. So I just think it's going to be really hard. I mean, maybe if you like Tampa, you put them in that teaser, kind of like you do. And Baker normally covers that. He's got a really good record in the 2-team teasers, like 26-3, similar to Bo Nix. So maybe 13 and 13.5 will be enough, but I like the Rams.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way. I saw this, and Tampa, it's not the time to buy low on them.
No.
I think it's second straight road game. They had to go all the way north to Buffalo. Now they got to go all the way to the West Coast. They're totally banged up, and none of that's going to change. Ibuka is banged up, and I don't think Bucky Irving's going to come back. And Baker has not been playing well, and I'm not saying he won't turn it around, but he has not been playing well, and I don't think this is the place to get right, especially when he's got, you look at their remaining schedule, and their last 5 games are like a cakewalk. So they're going to, just exactly like last year, be able to decide their own fate. And they'll probably go 5-0 in their remaining 5 games. There's a lot of division games. They're playing Carolina twice. They're playing the Saints again.
Yeah.
And I think they may play the Jets. I'm not sure, but I looked at their remaining schedule, and it's just they're going to go 5-0 after this week. So this is not the time to get on them. They're going to go home. They're going to get a little healthier, and they're going to get ready to try to make their playoff run just like they did last year. And they'll probably get healthy to by the time the playoffs roll around. But I think this is like, we'll look back at this game at the end of the season and be like, this is where they like hit rock bottom. Like they're going to get crushed in this game. And
I just think the Rams offense is too good, man. They're just clicking right now. Stafford's been unreal. He's an MVP.
So
Baker doesn't have the weapons.
Yeah.
I think Baker without Mike Evans is not the same player.
Yeah, I agree. But it's the whole, you need everything. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you look at the 49ers last week, when they have Purdy back, when they have Jennings, when they have Kittle, when they have, you know what I mean? When they have like the 3 options to throw to and a good quarterback, it's just like they become a different team.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're aligned.
Yep.
Last game of the week is Monday night. San Francisco's hosting Carolina. Interesting game. No defense here.
What's the line?
Or should I say no pass rush? 49ers are laying 7, 49.5. Interception, Houston. Oh my God. Pick 6, Josh. By the way, the score is 10-9 now. Houston came down and scored. Houston's winning. They're winning the game. And Josh just threw a pick 6. And if there's a flag, looking like the celebration's not ending in the end zone. 16-9, Houston.
Wow. Over players rejoicing. First half?
During the return, personal foul. Not sure what's going on, but Josh threw a pick. What do you think of this game?
I kind of think Carolina, and I know Bryce Young has not been great at prime time. He's 0-2. They've scored a total of 30 points in those games, but I think he's a different player this year. San Francisco has been really dreadful at home, off a win, straight up, playing at home. They've lost 12 consecutive games against the spread.
Wow.
And I just think 7 is too many points. I mean, their defense is not what it was. I know Salah's been doing a good job, but they still don't have the players. And the way Tet's been playing and the way that Rico's been running and the way Bryce Young has been playing, I just think they're going to do enough to keep it close. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I can see this being less than a 1-score game. And for that reason, I like Carolina.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It just feels like too many. And again, like Carolina's been upsetting big teams, keeping games close, winning close games. And,
Carolina's better than everybody thought they were.
Yeah, 100%.
And Bryce Young has shown that he's better than people thought he was. They thought they were going to run him out of the league last year. And he's 6-5. And I know people are feeling Purdy and San Fran's offense and thinking everything's fixed, everything's better. But they still don't have Bosa. They still don't have Fred Warner in the middle. They're still not the defense. And he is going to be able to move the ball on them.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I just don't think 7 is going to – I think 7's too many points. I think, I'm not saying that San Francisco won't find a way to win. They probably will. I think they'll find a way to get this done. I just don't see them covering 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. So it's looking like we both agree on, and maybe we pull that in there instead of Tennessee. I'd rather not bet on Tennessee, although that's just so many points. But
I love
seem to be mildly. Yeah, and I think I would rather do, if I switch this. So it's looking like right now, Tennessee would be our anti-survivor dog. Yep. Jacksonville -2.5 at Arizona. Yep. The Rams -6.5 over the Bucks. Carolina +7.5 49ers.
Yep.
And Jacksonville -2.5 at Arizona.
You said Jacksonville twice.
But sorry. Detroit -10.5 against the Giants.
Love. I like Detroit a lot. I like Minnesota a lot. If I can get you there, I know you hate JJ, but I think Green Bay is really banged up, and Minnesota owns them in that matchup recently, especially in Green Bay. And I know you don't like Dallas, but I do.
Yeah, I could maybe. I'm just looking at the quarterbacks that we have in these 5. Right, we got Trevor Lawrence, we got Goff, we got Trey, we got
Goff at home.
We got Goff at home. We have we have Stafford, and
Yep.
yeah, it's almost like who would you rather have? Cam Ward at home getting 13.5 or JJ McCarthy getting 6.5 on the road?
Given the history of Seattle at Tennessee and the trap game, like you mentioned, I really like Tennessee. It's way too many points.
And we also have Bryce Young. So,
yeah.
Seattle's four out of the 5 are good and or playing well. I don't know if we say Bryce Young's good, but I think at this point he's kind of over the hump. He's having games. Yeah.
I agree.
Right. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sorry about the water situation. We'll get that cleaned up and edited.
Oh my God, man. It never ends. Don't ever buy a house. It never ends.
Or rent the movie The Money Pit with Tom Hanks.
Such a disaster. I can't believe what's ahead of me now. And I have no insurance on this because I've already had so many claims because of this house that I'm going to have to do this one on my own.
Oh, really?
I might have to figure out how to drill through cement by myself.
Well, you get somebody to do that. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not skilled enough. Buddy, sorry about that. But
thanks, brother.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Look for the newsletter on Sunday morning. Good luck with your bets. We got a lot going on wannamakeabet.com these days. Tons of college basketball, NBA, and NHL on a nightly basis. So get into that. November, All Sports Cash League. There's so much action, and the more people that join, the bigger the pot. Giving away cash. Entry is free, and only at wannamakeabet.com. Best
Jack, the other point you made that I agreed with was, as far as our contest goes, taking less popular picks benefits us at this point because we're chasing. So we need to be on games that no one else is on. So that may lead us to unpopular plays like Carolina, like, for example, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Plays like that. Maybe even Minnesota. Who knows? We'll have to look. But we'll know the numbers before we put our picks in on where all the action is.
Yeah. And look, it's more likely that we're going to have to get off a game that we really like, because that's kind of that seems to have been like last week, Minnesota. I couldn't believe it, but everybody was on the Vikings.
It was a sharp side. It just didn't work.
Yeah, I thought the Bears were the sharp side there for the people that I listened to. There were a lot of those people who were on the Bears, but all right, we'll see how it all plays out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Have a good one.
See you.
Good luck with your situation.